All right, let's dive in. Today we're going to explore a question that people have been asking for thousands of years. How do you actually find wisdom? And we're going to do it by following one of the most incredible spiritual journeys ever written down.
Our story starts with these four ancient words, "Thus have I heard." This is the classic opening for a Buddhist sutra. Think of it like a key that unlocks a door to a whole other world of thinking. It's a signal that what you're about to hear is something special, something passed down with great care.
And the story we're pulling from? It's a piece of the Ramagga Sutra, which is this absolutely vast and beautiful text. This isn't just some fairy tale. It's a piece of literature that has been a guide for countless seekers for centuries.
So, let's meet our hero. His name is Suddhana. Now, he's not a king or a famous warrior. He's just a young guy, pretty ordinary, except for this one thing. He has this burning desire to understand what it really means to be enlightened. And his whole adventure kicks off with one huge question.
This is it. This is the question that sends Suddhana out into the world. It sounds so simple, right? But the answer is anything but. I mean, how do you go from just being you to being someone who has true, profound wisdom? Where do you even begin? Well, Suddhana's got a method, and it's pretty straightforward. First, you have to genuinely want to learn. It has to come from a real place. Then you go out and find people who seem to have the wisdom you're looking for. You ask them a very simple question. How do I do this? How do I walk the path? And then, and this is the most important part, you actually take in the lesson, you make it part of you, and then you keep going.
And with that, he's off. Suddhana doesn't go hide in a monastery or a cave. No, he goes out into the world to find his teachers. And his very first encounter really sets the tone for this whole amazing ride.
So his first stop is with an elder, a man named Susheng. Suddhana finds him in this big hall, totally surrounded by people teaching them. And Susheng's teaching isn't some complex, abstract philosophy. It's incredibly grounded. He teaches that real wisdom starts with action. First, he helps people who are poor or suffering. He gives them food, money, whatever they need. Because, as he shows Suddhana, only when someone's basic needs are met can their mind be open to deeper truths. The path to enlightenment, lesson number 1, starts with compassion you can actually see and feel.
So after learning this powerful lesson, Susheng sends Suddhana on his way. And this is where the story gets really, really cool. Because Suddhana's teachers, well, they aren't just a bunch of wise old men. They come from everywhere.
His very next teacher is a respected Buddhist nun named Lion Sprint. And this is a big deal, because right away, the story is showing us that wisdom isn't limited by your gender or your job title. And get this, the description of where she lives is just out of this world. It's called the Forest of Merits, and it's filled with jewel trees and branches made of glass, casting all this crazy colored light. This isn't just pretty language. It's meant to show us that her inner spiritual world is so beautiful that it literally shines out into the world around her. Her lesson is a lot more mind-bending. She teaches Suddhana that everything we experience, all the things we think are so solid and real, are actually more like an illusion or a dream. And her wisdom is so vast, she can teach anyone, from gods to regular people. And she knows exactly how to tailor the lesson for each one of them. So, from this magical, serene forest, Suddhana gets sent right back into the middle of a noisy, bustling city. And who's he supposed to meet there? A woman named Vasamitra, who is described as an incredibly beautiful and popular courtesan. You can just imagine the reaction from the people in town. They are completely confused. They see this earnest spiritual seeker, Suddhana, looking for a woman with her reputation, and they're just baffled. Their doubt is the perfect setup from one of the most powerful lessons in the whole story. Because her teaching is the biggest surprise yet. She teaches freedom from desire by using desire itself. It's amazing. The sutra says that any person who came to her full of lust or attachment would, just by being in her presence, be instantly freed from it. They'd achieve this profound state of peace. She literally transforms poison into medicine. Suddhana's journey even goes beyond the human world. For one of his lessons, his teacher is a celestial being, a god named Great Sky. This just drives the point home that wisdom can be found absolutely anywhere, even among the gods. And Great Sky teaches the lesson of non-attachment in the most spectacular way possible. He magically makes mountains of gold, silver, and jewels appear right in front of Suddhana. But then he teaches him that true wealth isn't having all that stuff. It's having the ability to give it all away without a second thought. The mind, he says, should be like a cloud.
It forms, it exists, and then it just dissolves, without clinging. Just look at this lineup. An elder, a nun, a courtesan, a deity. And their lessons are all so different, but they all fit together. You've got compassion in the real world, the illusory nature of reality, freedom from desire, and the importance of non-attachment. The message couldn't be clearer. Wisdom isn't just one thing, from one kind of person. It's a tapestry, woven from 1,000 different perspectives.
Now, you'd think that after all of this, Sudana's journey has to be close to over, right? But the story has one last and maybe most profound lesson to teach us about the very nature of the journey itself.
What's the end game here? Where is Sudana trying to get to? Is there some final boss, a last teacher who's going to give him the final answer?
The ultimate realization is there is no final destination. The continuous act of looking, of learning, of growing and integrating these lessons, that is the enlightened path. The process itself is the whole point.
And you can see this perfectly in how the story is built. After every single lesson, not one teacher ever says, "Okay, you've made it." Instead, every single time, they point him onward. They say, "From here, go south. There's someone else you need to see. Go and ask them how to walk the path." The journey is just this constant, beautiful chain of discovery.
And that leaves us with one final thought to take away. If wisdom can be found in an elder, a nun, a courtesan, or a god, if it can literally be found everywhere, it kind of forces us to ask ourselves, who are the unexpected teachers in our own lives, and what lessons are they just waiting to share with us?